Well, this is going to be something, at least, so go ahead and roll the thing. Hey guys, Sean here. So this is my VidCon 2018 Part 1 video. Why only Part 1? Well, I can't put Saturday into this video because this video needs to be uploaded and ready to go by Saturday night. And I can't do that because on Saturday morning, I'm going to be at VidCon. So it just doesn't work out. So that's why this is Part 1, which consists of Thursday and Friday. And then part 2 will be Saturday. So why am I doing it this way with my, as I call it, streaming setup, even though I don't actually stream anything? Well, you see, as I was driving to the convention center on Thursday morning, I shot some stuff in the car on the way there, just kind of setting things up, like how I was feeling about VidCon and what I wanted to see and all sorts of things like that. And then once I got to the convention and I saw a couple of panels, I then went to an area near one of the big stages that wasn't being used and recorded some more stuff where I was talking about like what I had just seen, what was coming up, and just my overall feelings about VidCon. And as I was editing all that stuff just now, I didn't like any of it. It was all very monotone and very boring, and I hated it. And so I decided to just scrap all of that and try something new. So that's what this is. I'm going to use the streaming setup and go over the footage of panels that I had recorded. There's not going to be any audio because when I film footage of panels, I just film them for little short periods of time just to get footage of the panel itself. I don't record the whole panel because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be watching a panel through a viewfinder. I want to actually enjoy the panel. So I will record it just to be like, here's what the panel was, and get like a minute or so shot of that, and then I put my camera away and enjoy the panel. So I have them all set up here on the stream deck, and we'll be going over each one of them. But before we get to that, let's just talk about VidCon in general this year. So this year is my 4th VidCon. The first year I went with a community badge, which basically means that you can go to all the community panels and onto the show floor, and then you get to go to meet and greets. Basically, there's a list of like 100 people that are doing meet and greets, and you choose like your top 25, and then there's a lottery that determines who you get to meet and greet with. You end up getting like 3 people generally. So when I did the community badge, I got Brizzy Voices and iJustine and Felicia Day. Ironically, that same year, I met Brizzy Voices and iJustine at E3 the week before, which ended up being a good thing because the wait to get the badges was so long that I ended up missing the iJustine meet and greet. But we'll get back to that in just a second. So the previous 2 years and this year as well, I ended up getting a creator badge. With a creator badge, you can go onto the convention floor and see all the stuff, and then you can go to all the community panels because they're just pretty much usually just out on the convention floor. There are a few that are behind closed doors, but you can still get into those as well. But then you also have access to creator panels, and those are panels that community members can't get into. And they're generally more geared towards like how do you make YouTube things and advice on being YouTubers and stuff like that. And then there's an industry badge, but those are super expensive, and those are pretty much for people that work in online video. So they have companies that are backing them, so that's why they're so expensive. So as I said, the first year I was community because I just wanted to see what VidCon was. Grace Helbig had tweeted out that she was going to be at it, and so I was like, oh, guess I'll try out this VidCon, see what it is. And I really enjoyed it, and a lot of the people being interviewed and stuff, like as I heard them, it made me think, you know, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could try and make YouTube videos. And for a year, nothing happened. And so the second year, I ended up getting a creator badge to see what that was all about. And if you've seen my very first vlog, which is 000, that was recorded in the parking garage at the end of VidCon that year. And every single Saturday since then, I have released a video. So then last year I was going into VidCon with a creator badge, and I had all this new excitement of, I've been doing this for a year, so this will be more interesting. It's like, okay, now I have videos behind me, so I kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to things and what people are talking about when it comes to things, so this will be interesting. And that leads us to this year, the 4th year I've gone to VidCon, and I've kind of gotten the senioritis, if you will. When I was heading to the convention center on Thursday morning, I did not have that excitement that I've had in the past going to VidCon. And when I got there, I really didn't have that excitement that I've had in the past. I think a part of it is that I have started to kind of accept the fact that I am older than I guess pretend to be, or like to think I am in my brain. And as I get older and older and older, I start to feel creepier and creepier and creepier at VidCon. And that is because like 60% of the attendees of VidCon are tween girls, and then 10% are tween boys, and then the remaining 30% are just various mixtures of ages and sexes. And so really, I'm just starting to feel more and more out of place when I go there. However, one of the benefits of that is the fact that you can go to VidCon at any time during the day and get a parking space in the parking garage, because the majority of the people that are there are not old enough to drive cars, and that's what happened to me on Thursday. I was heading in at like 10 o'clock and I was able to get parking, no problem. And if you go to WonderCon at the Anaheim Convention Center, if you're not there by like 8 a.m., you're not getting a parking space in the parking garage. And that leads to the next thing. So if you remember when I said earlier, I ended up missing the iJustine meet and greet because the line to get the badge was just so long. Well, this year it wasn't really that long at all because there wasn't that many people trying to get in, and I have noticed that this year as well. There seems to be way less people this year than there has been in the past. And so I was able to get there and get my badge and everything and make it to the first panel that I wanted to go to, which was the 5-star panel. Now this panel was basically YouTubers who do a lot of review videos, and it was moderated by Andre Meadows, who is Black Nerd Comedy on YouTube, who I have talked about on this channel before, and then Boogie2988, who I have talked about on this channel before, and iJustine, who I just talked about, and then there was Chase Ross and Tina Young, who I haven't heard of either of them before. Now, as someone whose most viewed video is a review video, I found this panel very fascinating, and especially since 3 of the people on it I really like and subscribe to and watch their videos all the time. 2 of the things I did notice during this panel that gave me a pause for concern was, first off, there was a lot of people in the crowd, like, I wouldn't say heckling, but doing that sort of heckling where they think they're helping, and that kind of worried me because I was afraid, is that going to be the MO for this year at VidCon, is just people keep yelling at the panelists? But luckily I haven't seen that happen since then. And then secondly, I was sitting in the front row, and off to the left there was the security guard and the event manager guy, and they were just having the time of their lives talking about whatever it is they were talking about, just at a normal volume. And it was very, very distracting. And actually at one point, the event guy, he also started saying things to the panelists and was like, yeah, okay, you're not on the panel. I don't know why this is happening. But luckily, as I've said, I haven't seen that happen again since then, so that is a good thing. So from there, I ended up going to the Press Start, How to Build a Presence on Twitch panel. Now this was kind of weird because it was basically like TwitchCon but at VidCon. It was a panel that had 3 people that actually work at Twitch, and that was Kelly Keywell, who is the Manager of Partnerships, Strategy, and Development, and Zachary Diaz, who is a Partnerships Manager of Content Development, and Chase. His name is just Chase, who is the PR director for Twitch. So as you're watching this video here, that'd be the people right above me. That is Chase and Kelly, And then the guy way over on the end over there, that is Zach. And then the two girls in the middle, that is Haley Atisuto and Bria Lee. And they are partners. They're basically streamers on Twitch who make a lot of money on Twitch, essentially. So that was an interesting panel. It was all about Twitch and getting on Twitch, because it was basically just because VidCon is generally considered to be a YouTube convention. So this was just kind of Twitch saying, hey, there are alternatives out there to YouTube. So this panel was for people who don't really know much about Twitch and just really introducing them to it and what they can do with it. I, of course, am greatly fascinated by Twitch because I watch a lot of Twitch, and I set this up to potentially do Twitch one day if I ever get off my ass and get around to doing it. And speaking of getting off my ass, I decided it was at that time that I would go walk around. So here we have me walking around. Now, usually when I show walking around at conventions, I will speed up the footage because the walking around is very boring to me, but my mom always complains about, I want to see it, don't speed it up, I want to see what it is. Okay, so I'm just going to let this play, and then I'm going to talk over it, and you'll be able to see what I see. So the first thing that we see here is the DFTBA sign. That is for the DFTBA, or Don't Forget to Be Awesome, apparel line, basically. And that is the company that makes all the shirts for the Vlogbrothers, John and Hank Green, who are the founders of VidCon, and also other YouTube people as well. I believe Rhett and Link do all of their shirts through DFTBA, and actually the shirt I'm wearing right now, this Grizzly Voices t-shirt, this is through DFTBA, and they always have a presence here, of course, because it's VidCon and John and Hank Green started it. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing I am not going to let this play without cuts, because you're going to see right here for like the next 30 seconds maybe, or a minute even, there is nothing. I'm just walking between the two halls here, and there is no booth to see or anything. So I'm just going to jump ahead to the next point where something interesting happens. Okay, so on the right there you can see there's the Nickelodeon booth. The Nickelodeon booth is there every year, and this year they had some of the physical challenges from Double Dare, because Double Dare is coming back. And then on the left, right above me there, you can see that there was the Instagram booth. Now Instagram was showing off Instagram TV, which is their new long form videos that they introduced like this week, and they're basically trying to take on YouTube now, because they've already destroyed Snapchat by taking over the Snapchat stories and making them their own. And so now they are trying to do the same thing with YouTube. They're trying to take over long form video. So over here on the right, you will see there is a Nerf booth, which was really weird. I don't know exactly why Nerf is there this year, but you can see they have a wall of all these different Nerf guns, and they're actually like not all current Nerf guns. There's like Nerf guns through the ages almost. And inside it's kind of like an inflated booth where I think you can run around and shoot each other with Nerf guns. And then here you can see there is an MTV booth. I didn't really look at what was going on in there, but it seemed weird. Some weird things were going on in there. Now here you can see there is a Lego booth, but really there's not much in it. I was quite surprised and quite disappointed that there wasn't much to it. Here we have a Facebook booth, and I don't really know much of what's going on there. And then that is where the footage loops, because it was at that point that I walked over to the next panel that I wanted to go to, and that was this one right here, which is the Boss Women Who Kick Ass panel. That's literally what it is called. And so that is moderated right here by Erica Bennett, who is the global head of social marketing for YouTube Originals. Next to her is Anna Akana, who I believe I've talked about on this channel before. Next to her is Shan Booty, who I've never heard of before. Next to her is Ashley Perez from BuzzFeed, who I've never heard of before. Next to her is Colleen Ballinger, who is a very well-known YouTuber, mostly for the character that she plays, Miranda Sings, who had a 2-season series on Netflix. And then next to her is who is it? Karina Garcia, who I also haven't heard of before. But yeah, they're all strong, independent women who are bosses on YouTube, so that's pretty much the entire point of the panel, and they're all very inspiring, and I recommend checking them all out if you have the chance. And then after that, it was time to head over to the Gathering of the Nerd Fighters. Now, this is John and Hank Green's annual address to their fans, if you will, and they, of course, are the founders of VidCon. However, earlier this year, they sold VidCon to Viacom, so I'm not exactly sure how that has affected their stake in VidCon anymore, but they still have this panel, and honestly, I think that the company that Hank runs still runs VidCon. I'm not exactly sure how much they still do, but I believe they still completely run it. And John's just kind of like a silent partner in it. But this is the panel where every year they talk about philanthropic things that they're doing for the upcoming year and big announcements that are coming up. And actually last year was when John announced his new book coming out, which I think I have a copy of. I do. This one right here, Turtles All the Way Down, which is his, what, 4th or 5th New York Times bestseller? Because he wrote Waiting for Alaska, and then Fault in Our Stars, then Paper Towns, and then this. And so yeah, I always look forward to this panel every year because I love John and Hank Green. They are fantastic, and everything that they have done for this world is incredible. And as I have said before, and the video where I actually ended up getting that book, is the world is a much better place because John and Hank Green are in it. And that actually ends day 1 of VidCon. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to end it there and make day 2 and 3 the part 2 video, because I have a feeling that Saturday isn't going to have as much stuff in it that would fit a full video. So I think day 2 and 3 would make a good full video, and that this so far has made a good whole video. So let me know in the comments down below if you went to VidCon and what your favorite thing was about the first day. And while you're down there, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to help support the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit up my Patreon. And with that, have a good however long it is until you watch my next video.